Welcome to all for today's class. Today we'll discuss about electrical property of solid. Now, what is electrical property of solid? So you know very well that electrical property means passing of current, that is passing of charge. Charge may be cation, anion, and also electron carry the charge. In case of solution or molten state of a solid, in case of solution or in a molten state of a substance, the electricity is carried by cation and anion, and in case of solid, electricity is carried by electron, that is current is passed through electron, means by movement of the electron. So the passing of current, that is passing of electricity, means passing of electric charge, is measured by conductivity. Now what is conductivity? So this is reciprocal of resistivity. So again, what is resistivity? So resistivity is the electrical resistance of a substance of 1 unit length and its area of cross section is 1 unit square. That means the passing of current, that is passing of charge through a substance always experience some resistance to flow, and if substance is 1 unit length and its area of cross section is 1 unit square, then this resistance will be specific resistance and also called resistivity, and reciprocal of this resistivity is called conductivity, whose unit is ohm inverse meter inverse. And on the basis of this conductivity, the solids can be classified into three types. These are conductors, semiconductor and insulators. So now we'll discuss about conductor, semiconductor and insulator. So insulator, semiconductor. So what is conductor? So conductor are those which allow the maximum current flow through them, and their conductivity is of the order 10 to the power 4 to 10 to the power 7 ohm inverse meter inverse. That means on the basis of the conductivity, if the conductivity ranges falls in between 10 to the power 4 to 10 to the power 7 ohm inverse meter inverse, then we call this is a conductor. Metals are good conductor of electricity due to the presence of mobile electron. And conductivity of metal decrease with increase in temperature. Now you come to the insulator. So those which do not allow the electric current to flow through them, these are called insulator. The electrical conductivity of insulator is the order of 10 to the minus 10 to 10 to the minus 10 ohm inverse meter inverse. So if the conductivity range is 10 to the minus 2 to 10 to the minus 10 ohm inverse meter inverse, then we call it is insulator. Means 10 to the minus 2 and 10 to the minus 10, that is very negligible, you see, that means very negligible conductivity. In that case we call insulator. Means actually what happens, it will not allow the current to pass through it. So next, semiconductor. So electrical conductivity of a semiconductor at normal temperature lies between a conductor and insulator, and the range of conductivity is 10 to the minus 6 to 10 to the power 4 ohm inverse meter inverse. So if it is within this range 10 to the minus 6 to 10 to the power 4 ohm inverse meter inverse, then we call that is a semiconductor. So semiconductor are perfect insulator at absolute zero. Means what? That means if we increase the temperature, then semiconducting property of the substance increases. Means the value of the conductivity of the semiconductor increases, and if you decrease the temperature, it is decreases. So you remember, at absolute zero, the semiconductors are perfect insulator. Means there will be no, that means it will not allow to pass the electricity through it at absolute zero. Silicon and germanium are semiconductor. Silicon and germanium are the semiconductor. and these two are called as the intrinsic semiconductor. So intrinsic semiconductor means the conduction in the crystal without adding any external substance is called intrinsic conductor. That means as such silicon and germanium, they have the conductivity ranges in between 10 to the power -6 to 10 to the power 4 ohm inverse meter inverse. Now the conduction of intrinsic semiconductor can be increased by doping. That intrinsic semiconductor, the conductivity can be increased by doping. So what is that doping, we have to know. So doping is a process of mixing pure silicon or germanium with impurity. That means if we mix the germanium and silicon with impurity, then we can increase the conductivity, and that process is called as a doping. So doping enhances the conductivity and the products are called extrinsic semiconductors. They are of two types. So what are these two types? N-type semiconductor, electron rich impurities. That means in that semiconductor, that electron will be rich. That means that is called electron rich impurities. So how we will get? It is obtained by doping silicon and germanium. You know that silicon and germanium is here the 14 group with a group 15 elements. So 14 group elements, that means outermost cell electron is 4 here, and 15 group elements means outermost cell electron is 5 here. So out of that 5, 4 is engaged with the bonding with the 4 outermost cell electron of the silicon or germanium. Whatever the 5th electron, it will remain free there, and thereby it increases the conductivity properties. Since it is an electron rich, electron means negative, we know, so it is called as N-type semiconductor. Now P-type semiconductor, it is obtained by doping silicon or germanium with a group 13 elements. So silicon and germanium, 4 outermost cell electrons are there, but 13 group elements means 3 outermost cell electrons are there. So this is electron deficit impurities, means there will be electron less, and that electron less place is called as a hole. So positive hole, it behaves as a positive hole. Now like gallium, which contains only 3 valence electrons, so due to missing of 4 valence electron, electron hole or electron vacancy is created, and the movement of this positively charged hole is responsible for the conductions, and thereby you will get the P-type semiconductor. So positive hole means electron deficit impurities semiconductor. Now this conductor, insulator and semiconductor, here basically you have to explain in terms of a band theory. Now what is that band theory? So you see the details we will not discuss here about the band theory, since it is not required to you. In a very simple way we will discuss that one. That you see that already you have got the two types of bond. One is the ionic bond, another is the covalent bond. Whenever there is a bond between metal and non-metal, then ionic bond is there, and whenever it is a bond between the non-metallic atom, then that is a covalent bond. Already you have the idea. But in case of metal, you see the piece of iron, piece of copper, large number of atoms are there. So how they are existing? So definitely they are in some kind of bond, and that bond is called as the metallic bond. That means whatever the atoms, millions of atoms are present in a matter, that is present by involving metallic bond, means metallic bond is there. So what is that metallic bond? So that is explained by that of the band theory. So you recall that of the molecular orbital theory, that in case of a molecular orbital theory, we have got that the linear combination of the atomic orbital leads to the formation of a molecular orbital. The number of molecular orbital is equal to the number of atomic orbital. Now in case of the metallic bond, large number of metal atom at a time involved in the bonding. That means large number of atomic orbital involved in the combination. So large number of molecular orbitals are formed here, and they are so close to each other that they looks like a band. So we call in that case that the large number of atomic orbitals in case of a metal, they form a band. So out of that band, we will only concentrate here two types of band. One is the valence band and another is the conduction band. So valence band and the conduction band. So valence band means what? Like that of the valence shell, that last electron enter into that shell. So here also the valence band means the last electron enter into that band. So that is the valence band. And this valence band means outermost band also you can call. This may partially fill, so partially filled band or filled band means completely filled band. You see here that blue color, this is partially filled. So this portion is empty, and here in this case you see this is completely filled. So this valence band may be partially filled or it may completely filled. And another band is the conduction band. So this is just above the valence band. That means its energy is just higher than that of the valence band. So this is highest unoccupied band, actually highest unoccupied orbital. So this its energy is just higher than that of the valence band. Now, according to the situation of this valence band and conduction band, we can get conductor means metal, insulator and semiconductor. Now how? If valence band is partially filled, that electron can easily move there. There is enough free space to move, so thereby electron can freely move. So it will be coming under conductor, means that will behave like that, means that is the case of a metal. So partially filled bands are there. Or if filled bands are there, if bands are completely filled, valence bands are completely filled, in that case it may overlap with that of the conduction band. That means either partially filled valence band or completely filled valence band overlapping with conduction band. In that case also, that electron can move from valence band to that of the conduction band, and thereby these electrons are free to move, and thereby they conduct electricity in the range of conductor. That means the conductivity range will be in the range of the conductor, and so we call them as conductor, and that is metal. But if there is a gap in between the completely filled valence band and that of the conduction band, and this gap is very high, that gap is called forbidden zone or large energy gap. If that gap is very high, then electron cannot jump from filled valence band to that of the conduction band, and here also there is no free space to move, and thereby electron will get restriction to move, so it will come under insulator. That means if gap between the valence band and the conduction band is very high, then we call it is a insulator. And if that gap is small, that gap between the valence band and conduction band is small, though that valence band is completely filled, but electron can easily jump to that of the conduction band, and there they can freely move, and thereby they show the little bit conductivity, means the conductivity will come under the range of semiconductor, so we call it is a semiconductor. So whatever the gap that between the valence band and the conduction band, that is very small, so due to that electron can jump, and thereby it will show the conductivity in between metal and insulator, means conductor and insulator, and we call it is a semiconductor. As the temperature increases, then what happens? Then more electron can jump to that of the conduction band, and thereby it will increase the conductivity of that of the semiconductor. So that's why in case of semiconductor, on increasing the temperature, that conductivity increases. So okay, this is about the conductor, insulator and semiconductor, and this is the end for today. Thank you.